Hello everyone. Today, I'm going to show you how to configure SNMP v2 on a VMware ESXi host. Let's begin with our lab setup. In today's lab, we have an ESXi host, Windows client, and an Ubuntu server. The Ubuntu server will act as the SNMP target. This is my ESXi host, and you can see that the SNMPD service is disabled by default. Now we can start the configuration on the ESXi host. Let's start by logging into the ESXi host using PuTTY. On ESXi hosts, SNMP can only be configured through the command line interface. Once logged in, we can check the current SNMP status using the command esxcli system snmp get. As expected, you'll see that SNMP is disabled by default. Next, we'll move on to configuring SNMP on the ESXi host. First, we need to set a community name. In this lab, we're using GTO as our community name. After that, we define the SNMP target, which is the Ubuntu server's IP address. This target is where the SNMP traps and monitoring data will be sent. Then, we'll set the location of the server, which in our case is simply labeled server room. You can choose any descriptive location that fits your environment. We'll also set the contact information, which is usually the system administrator's email address. This helps in identifying who to contact in case any issues arise. Now that we've configured the SNMP settings, the next step is to install the SNMP client on our Ubuntu server. On the Ubuntu machine, we'll run sudo apt install SNMP to install the required package. Once that's installed, we'll use the snmpwalk command to try and retrieve SNMP data from the ESXi host. At this point, you won't get a response because SNMP is still disabled on the ESXi side. So let's go back to the ESXi host and enable SNMP. Once SNMP is enabled, the service will start. And now we can return to our Ubuntu server and run the snmpwalk command again. This time, you'll see a long list of SNMP objects being returned from the ESXi host, which confirms that SNMP is working successfully. One last important step is to configure the ESXi firewall to allow SNMP traffic. This is done by enabling the SNMP firewall rule set, allowing the IP address of our Ubuntu server, and refreshing the firewall settings. This ensures that only trusted devices can communicate with the SNMP service on your ESXi host. Please enter these 3 commands on the ESXi host for the firewall configuration. I am using a network address for this setup. And that's it. You've now successfully configured SNMP v2 on a VMware ESXi host. You can now connect this host to your monitoring software such as Zabbix or Nagios and start collecting valuable performance data. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.